in general, we've had a long chat with our user, and he's quite a character. He's into heavy metal and opera. And basically what we did last night, we spent discussing and finding out, just getting to know each other. We basically, when you came to take our picture, Julia, he was suddenly taking up a digital camera, quite an advanced digital camera from his own rucksack, and saying if you take a picture for him as well. And it turns out he has a library of over 3,000 pictures. On his 3,000 pictures, and he keeps them meticulously arranged, and he uses Facebook for uploading his images. So I'm sure he was the first to put out the pictures of the Crown Princess on Facebook, and he uses these images for once it's online on Facebook. He uses them. But this vast library of pictures, like any photographer, he seldom goes back to it. And but he says he keeps these as sort of a memory bank, and it's for not so much himself, because he can browse the categories, and he's developed his own system for actually organizing them. So he names them in the right folder, and the pictures have the date. So what he does, he can do, and he does, well, we find out he rarely does it, but he can go in and he can sort of read the picture, the folder it's in, which means what's it at, and it has a date, and he can look at the date and time on the image, and then he will sort of use that time stamp, if you like, as a cue for memories. And so we've been talking a lot about how can we enhance that, just the fact that he's a blind person and takes a lot of images. Yes, and how can we sort of make him use it more, share it, enhance that. We've talked a lot about audio, not as opposed to video as well, which becomes something completely different.
What would be the sort of alternative scenario? You've got David, but what would be other relevant scenarios around this idea you've got?
Well, I think that's sort of what we need to delve into, I guess.
Right.
But it certainly is. We talked about Snow's grandmother who's just gotten a digital camera, and what did you say, that when you uploaded the photos to the computer, and she would say, "Well, what now?"
Right. Yeah. You don't know what to do with the photos. Right. Yeah.
And it's
We're talking about the photo album concept. So how could you make a more interactive photo album? You may want to download it, I don't know, or you may want to just have it on the PC, but we can have more interaction with it.
Yeah.
So you could add stuff, or friends could add stuff.
What's interesting to me about this, Julia, when you say, well, what's the use of this beyond him? I think everybody has the problem, what do I do with a photograph? What's the point of the photograph? Why am I taking photographs?
Photographs are incredibly powerful, they have that power, but they also, you have to know how to frame it and interpret it if it's going to have something beyond just being, sort of set of images.
This is helpful. I can't speak and think at the same time, so I'm trying to do it. People use personal history to know if they like each other or not. When you meet somebody, they talk about themselves. When you meet somebody, you talk about yourself, because that's the only way, other than chemistry and all that stuff, how you get into a relationship is finding empathy, and a lot of the empathy is to do with things you've done, books you've read, films you like, music you enjoy, all of that. And I mean, I think there's something really exciting about the idea of enabling autobiography, or enabling you to present who you are to somebody pictorially. I think that's really interesting.
I think it's a challenging case to navigate, because it can become so huge, and it's.
Yeah, well, I think to stop it being really huge and to keep it absolutely to the killer idea thing, you've got to keep asking, the core design question that you're answering. What is the core design question that we want to answer in what we're doing?
We're moving from a text-based society to an image-based society. That is happening. No question about that is happening. And this relates to that in a way. people want to look more than they want to read.
Mm.
And I think this has got some connection with that in a way.
I think it's definitely, and in David's case as well, it's closely linked to the social media and how that suddenly lets you explore other people. It could be about relations, which is one strong factor, that you suddenly realize that people know each other that you didn't know. And the other one is images.
But it's interesting that David is using images to assert his identity and not anything else.
Yes, exactly.
So I mean, of course he's using his music and his chess or whatever, but his public persona is very much, he uses imagery to actually to push it.
It's very fascinating.
Much more than text.
I think he, like a good lead user, he sort of is a unique take on what is a common problem.